This is Pete again, Eco Fires, doing my second Facebook Live. The last session we did turned out really successful in the end. We got a lot of questions answered to customers. A lot of people phoned up a bit later on, and we're quite interested in a few things. So today I thought I'd just focus on one particular thing. It'll help people out that are interested in gas fires mainly. So I'm going to talk about gas fires, going to talk about fireplaces that go with gas fires, going to talk about installation, but we're not going to focus on the wood burning side at the moment because it's just too much to go through. So if you've got any questions you'd like to ask, feel free, ask away. If I can answer them today, I can. There's not an awful lot I don't know about the installation process and the products that we deal with mainly. So I've got Sean here. He's going to ask me a few important questions, common questions that are asked lately. So fire away, Sean.
Okay. What's the main thing that's changed in recent years that's made gas fires popular?
What we're finding out at the moment is people are more interested in the look of the fireplace than anything. So if somebody sees a particular looking fuel bed, for instance, that's what they're going to choose above and beyond anything else. There's a lot of other things to think about, like efficiency and everything else, but the main thing people want is a realistic fuel bed. So that's what most good quality manufacturers are focusing on. Things like the fuel bed, introducing things like glowing embers at the bottom, something we didn't have a few years ago. The log fuel beds are hand painted ceramics, so they're focusing on that. So that's important. Another thing that, I don't know if this will show up on a video camera, probably here's the best angle, Sean. This may or may not show up, but this has got what's called anti-reflective glass. So basically almost invisible glass. So when you've got the light from the flames behind it, you can barely see the glass there. And the glass is a very important thing nowadays on a fire because it helps with efficiency. And probably that's going to be answered in one of the other questions. I'll answer the next question.
Yeah, how efficient are they?
Right. It's a good question. How efficient is a gas fire? A lot of it depends on how it's installed. And all gas fires are different. So you have an open fronted gas fire, you have a glass fronted gas fire, you have gas fires with convection. I would say 90% plus of people, our customers, want as much efficiency as possible. It's important to them. So I'll tell you how a modern fire becomes efficient. What you've got is you've got a flame on the inside producing heat. You've got a heat exchanger in this fire, so it naturally draws cold air underneath in this particular model. Comes out as warm air at the top, so you're getting convected warm air. You're getting radiant heat through the glass. But this is the question a lot of customers ask, how come it's more efficient because it's got a glass front? I would thought it would be less efficient because it's not giving out as much heat. What that glass is actually doing is stopping the heat loss back up the chimney. So that's how they become more efficient. You've got convected warm air, you've got radiant heat, and limited heat loss through the chimney because of the glass.
Okay. Do they actually need a chimney? I know I've asked this before, but do they need a chimney?
In a lot of cases, no, they don't need a chimney, or is in a position where you can't put a chimney in. So this particular model, and other models, I'll turn this off because it's getting, or turn it down, it's getting a bit warm in here now. I can tell you again how that works. You've got a conventional flue fire. Conventional flue means where you go up your normal chimney, where you just use your normal chimney as it is, or you might put a liner up your chimney. Okay, so that's using an existing flue or chimney. You've then got what's called balanced flue. Balanced flue is basically the same fire, but it works slightly differently as you put this balanced flue system in. And what that does, it either comes off the top of the fire and just goes outside with a little terminal, or it goes directly out the back of the fire. There's a new model here. This one is designed to go on a flat wall. So if you've got a flat wall, you've got nothing on the other side of it in your garden, for instance, you've just got a plain wall. What we can do with this particular setup, we've had it all made especially for this type of installation, is we can cut a hole out into the cavity, we can insulate that hole, then the whole thing pushes back into the cavity, then you've got a direct flue pipe that goes outside. Okay, what that flue pipe does, it's a two-part pipe. You've got an intake of oxygen on the outside of the pipe, and then you've got the exhaust gases going out the middle of the pipe, and it's as simple as that. There's no electric fans or anything like you used to get on the old fires. So when this is running, it will look just like this one over here. It's a very similar model, but there's no chimney involved. So you can have a fireplace like this with no chimney whatsoever. And a lot of, basically you've got a lot of good companies that are offering these two options now, because not only is balanced flue good because you don't need a chimney, it's also one of the most efficient ways you can have a fire, the balanced flue system.
So what are the main companies? You can't deal with all the companies. What are the main companies that you deal with? Probably the top ones, I imagine.
We do. We specialise. It's good to specialise because we know the fire's back to front. So we're big into British products, British manufacturers. One of the good news stories with Brexit going on and everything else is Gasco as a company. They're a true British company based in Exeter. I would say 80% of the fires we sell are actually Gasco products. Very forward thinking. They listen to us as their customers, and they listen to what our customers want, and they're constantly developing. They're a big concern in the gas fire industry, and yeah, they're definitely the big boys there. And also some of the Dutch products are also, we can't ignore how good they are. They do tend to be a bit more expensive, but there is a company called Ballpark, which is part of the Barbers group, and we do a lot of their fires. To give you a quick example of the ones I've just showed you were the Gasco ones. This particular one here is a Bell fire, made in Holland. Again, they focus on the fuel bed a lot, but also lots of built-in quality. If I can quickly walk past your camera, Sean, I can quickly show you something on this.
Then I'll start getting the final paperwork process, okay?
Again, I like to say I designed this 10 years ago. I certainly come up with the idea and everybody thought it couldn't be done, but now, lo and behold, we see one manufactured in Holland, and Gasco also do a very similar burner. What they do is, instead of the gas coming up underneath the log fuel bed, you actually make the log fuel bed the burner, so the gas is coming out the log rather than from underneath the log, so it's a much more natural way. Okay? So when you turn it up, you can see the gas is actually coming out the log burner, the log itself. You can also have a front and back burner, so you see the gas is now coming out the back of that log as well as out the front, so that is giving you half the output for the same sort of effect. So you can have double output instantly. I'll knock that off again because it's getting a bit warm in here. See, now the back burner has gone. You've also got the underbed fuel lighting you saw me just turn off and turn on again. That's just to give an added feature. So that's the type of product we're into. We don't do really any other gas products. We have a company called New Flame. They're a smaller company and they do some nice quality products, and in certain cases we need to use those.
Okay, so why would someone why would someone buy a gas fire over a log burner, for instance?
Good question, and I think I'll answer that by talking about a wood burner. Don't buy a wood burner for any other reason than for the enjoyment factor. They're great, they are efficient, but you do have to put wood in them about every 45 minutes to an hour. You need to store wood, you need to clean them out a little bit. So buy the wood burner really for the same reason you would buy a chimney. That's my advice. Because it's enjoyable. It's a lovely thing to put on. I've got a wood burner in my house. I look forward to my weekends, my roast dinners on a Sunday, and having a log fire going. With gas fires, it's all about convenience. It's about convenience. It's clean to use. You've got control. So that's basically it, really. So it's a question of what do you actually want the fire for. Nobody really puts a fireplace in just as a heater. It's always about a feature, but it's how you want to use it.
Let's talk about the installation. Do you do the installation from start to finish?
Yeah, we do everything. We do absolutely everything that's required, and that's what. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit because it's getting a little bit warm. That's another little Dutch fire, by the way. Yeah, we like to do the whole installation, everything from, we'll go along, we'll survey the job properly, as much as we can see anyway, and then we will make sure we're geared up to go and do that whole installation, and that can be removal, disposal, preparation, plastering, chimney sweeping, everything that's involved, right down to the finished article. And you'll see that on a lot of our Facebook and on our Google. You can see examples of what we've done.
Tell us about the cost. Everybody wants to know the cost. Give me a ballpark figure. Can you give a ballpark figure of an installation? Maybe one of the fires you've got here.
Yeah. If you put everything together, you're going to be looking at between £1,000 and £1,500 by the time it's done. When by the time you've got your VAT on it, you've got your registration of the job, your disposal charges, and it depends on the size of the fireplace as well. I can't say we're the cheapest out there. I've never pretended to be the cheapest because we're so well geared up with our equipment and the type of fitters we use. Full-time surveyor, full-time after-sales service, all employed by us. That's the difference with us. So we are a little bit more expensive because we simply couldn't run like some of the cheaper companies out there. But I certainly think we're the best value. So yeah, if you look at your fireplace, your fire, between the £1,000 and £1,500 to get the whole thing installed.
And from start to finish, time-wise, approximately?
When you say from start to finish, on actual site, it's a day to 2 days usually. Some take up to 4 days if we're building chimney breasts like the big Dutch fires. And that's not all because there's so much work. Sometimes we have to do a bit of plastering and we have to wait for that to dry to go back. So it can be spread over 4 days. Point of order to completion of work, 4 to 6 weeks in general.
Okay, and what about the maintenance of it after you've installed it? Do you have to have it regularly maintained?
Oh yes,
Is that something you offer?
we do offer,
right.
And it's something we kind of insist on right now. We notice with these modern fires that are being used unlike gas fires have ever been used before. So they need a proper service, like any other car. If you've got a car and you're doing 20,000 miles a year, it's going to need a good service every year. And we're finding that with fires. Keep them serviced, you keep them in good health. And again, we have a full-time part of the business service engineer. So not only the servicing, regular servicing, but also the guarantee backup. There should never be a problem. We're hopefully straight out there. And it's another reason we only really cover 20-mile radius as well, because we need to be able to service these fires we're putting in.
Okay, so look, we're going to be doing some more of these Facebook Lives. If anybody's got any suggestions, anything that maybe people want you to cover, they can always email you, they can put it on Facebook and we'll catch up on
Yeah, and that's generally what happens.
I mean, there's lots of subjects you can cover, isn't there?
Yeah, and I'll answer any subject. Today I just thought I'd not just, these are some of the questions that I wanted you to ask me because they're common questions for people to phone up and ask or when they're in the showroom. But quite often, after doing a Facebook Live session, I'll be answering questions throughout the night, because I've got nothing better to do.
Okay, well, I think we haven't got any questions now, but if anybody has any questions, obviously they can put it on the Facebook page.
Put it on the Facebook page. You can phone us up direct here between 10 and 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
But by all means, if you want to contact us by email, I do answer emails out of hours. That's what I do.
Okay, and just finally, a reminder of where you are and the area you cover.
Right, we're in Crookham Village, which is right next to Fleet in Hampshire. And if I was to say we cover a 20-mile radius, which is most of Farnham, this side of Reading, Basingstoke, Hartley, Whitney, up to Camberley, past Camberley. We'll go basically as far as Twickenham one way, and as far as Winchester the other way. There's certain areas we don't cover, and it's not that we don't want the business in that area. We need to be able to get out there and service and maintain what we install.
Okay, that's it from us. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.